Welcome back to NCC Talk Show. Today is March 14th, 2021, and we gather here today to celebrate the life of Albert Einstein. Even though he's not with us today, we would like to talk about his life and accomplishments in honor of him. It has been almost 66 years since his passing. Albert Einstein was known for being considered the most influential physicist of the 20th century. He was born March 14th, 1849, in Württemberg, Germany. He lived with his younger sister Maria and his mother and father, Hermann Einstein and Pauline Cook. As he aged, he became fascinated with some gadgets, such as a compass and a book of geometry. By the age of 12, he had taught himself how to do geometry. Not many kids are capable of doing this. His family had moved often because of his father's work, so he had to attend various schools. When he was 16 years old, he had failed an exam in order to qualify to be an electrician engineer, so he decided to change his career. His decision was to study to be a physics teacher because he knew that he was able to think mathematically. In 1900, he graduated from college. Many of his teachers believed that he would not amount to anything because he hadn't always been the best student. He would tend to skip classes often and daydream while in class. Since his teachers believed this, it was hard for him to get any recommendations for jobs. He had written a letter that he sent home to his parents, where he had said, "Maybe it would have been better if I had never been born." Now, think about how different our world would be today if we hadn't had him in it. But let's continue. In 1901, he had been offered a position as a substitute high school teacher and took the job, and took other small jobs as well. In 1903, he was wed to a woman named Maliva. She had been in some of his college classes and had helped him check papers and worked on some of his theories with him. This couple had 2 children together. As more time passed, he hadn't really done anything with his life yet. His father died believing that he was just a huge disappointment. But little did he know what would come. For the next 2 years, he worked in a patent office and published many papers throughout this time. This job would give him a lot of time to contemplate his daydreams. 4 of his papers are published. The topics were what is light, what is the existence of atoms, E equals mc squared, and the tiniest specks of matter can hold huge amounts of energy. He solved these numerous problems with his capability of picturing things in his mind. He also came up with the theory of space-time. He submitted many papers but got no response for a long time. Max Planck was the top physicist of that time and read the paper and said, "There is something great here. This paper is still very important in science to this day." Einstein had solved the fact that gravity is the curvature of the universe. Einstein then becomes a professor and is invited to gatherings of many great physicists. Some of them were the greatest of all time. He is the youngest professor there, and this catches the eyes of others. As time continues, his lectures start to become extremely famous throughout the world. In 1917, he became very ill, and his cousin Elsa Lowenthal nursed him back to health. And during this time, they became very fond of one another. He then divorced his wife in early 1919 and married Elsa 3 months later. He was then awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics for his findings and continues to explore ideas with others. At the age of 52, he is at the height of his fame. After about 4 years, his wife, also known as his cousin, dies of a sickness. When he was done mourning, he decided to become an American citizen. Many people believed that he had helped create the atomic bomb, but this is not true. His equation E equals mc squared explains the energy released in an atomic bomb, but doesn't explain how one would build it. He tried to warn the president at this time of the possibility of Germany building an atomic bomb and urges nuclear research. He then continues on with his other research and on April 18, 1955, he passed away because of heart failure. We know that Einstein was an intelligent man that did great things, but hopefully this short biography gives you a further insight into the life of Albert Einstein and reminds you that he has brought so many great findings into this world that can be used with thinking about our everyday scientific and mathematic experiences. Thank you for tuning into the life of Albert Einstein with us. We'll be back with NCC Talk Show right after this commercial break.